Hello, how you been doing? So today I'm gonna present a topic very like related to our lesson last term, and the name is recording audio on set. I feel this topic is very interesting because like in a class we study um, every detail on their boom zoom, how can we use it, but we not really have a full exercise doing outside on set, um, like the big assignment. So I think this topic I can like connect all the idea that I have, and I can make like the theory on it. So in the future when I'm on set, I know what should I do, how to get the best quality sounds. And my plan is like travel to Europe to study in Europe, and I really want to make a video, a vlog that have a good sounds, so all of my friend and my family can watch it. So that's very kind of like something very important to me. So I want to show you the first video talking about in the class that I watched it from teacher, and I very impressive, and that's give me some first impression of how the sound effect for the movie, for the audio, for the content.
So you can see with really terrible video how you can follow what I'm saying, how you can get into the story, despite the fact that the image has been degraded. Directors will use this creatively, like the Blair Witch Project, which is like an hour and a half of really terrible video, but the audio is so good you can follow the story. Things change drastically when we switch that around.
Suddenly, with really bad audio, it's hard to take what I'm doing seriously. It's hard to take this whole video seriously. And to get through something like this that's even 5 minutes is painful. This might work maybe with action cams if the content is really good, like a skydiver. We kind of forgive that for a second. But for an actual film content, you can't pull this off. It's terrible and it's unwatchable. And it's only unwatchable because the audio is terrible. So I'm going to switch things back for the benefit of all of us.
You can see how having good video and good audio is so super important.
So this is my outline. I'm gonna my presentation gonna have three parts. The first is choose your boom mic. What kind of you think that is good for your purpose, for a movie, for making movie, or recording in the studio, or an interview. The second, I think setting your boom or wireless lav mic is very important on the set. And the third one, test your sound level and adjust the sound level. And before three part on the recording on sets, first of all, I think we need to take a look on the location for the pre-production part. We need to take a look on the location like a week before the event, so you will estimate the what happened in the location, the sound, the time that suitable for you to have the best quality of the sound without a lot of noise incidents that you don't know what's gonna happen. So just figure it out a week, like the time before it happened. And you need to know how much money or your budgets, so you can have a single system or the double system. So this is very important because if you want the good sound, at least you need to use the double system, which means the camera and the sound, the microphone is separate, like two channel, and then you can sync it later. And on the set you need to careful, or you need to notice that the position where you have the sound, where you're recording, or the light of the room, the interviewing room, at the studio, and then you know where to set your mic that don't have the shadow on it and have the best sounds. So here is the some most important um, tools that we need to have in our set before we put everything in order, recording thing. So we need to have all the gear things that um, um, this is the zoom, and then the XLR cable, and something like headphone, and with the boom pole, with green windscreen, and a lot of things that you should think of what gonna happen, like battery, more battery in case, and you need to have SD card so you can save every detail. That is very important. So you can take a look on this view. This is kind of the view that most of people want to have their TV show outside. It's very interesting for the customer, for the people who watch TV show. They really like something like outside nature. And then we come to our first part is we need to have to know what kind of boom mic that we can in the environment that we can have the best sounds. So usually this is like 5 type. Usually people use cardioid and shotgun, or like this is for like theater, I guess. And this is kind of the pickup pattern that we should notice about it. So when we have an interview, we can take the sound from the people who answer and the people who ask. This is very like super cool boom, super cardio on the camera mic. Some detail on it. And we need to consider the place that we recording, because we need to know how to handle with some trouble in it. So here if you want to record in a to film in an iconic place, you can see there's something we can't control, like traffic, wildlife, and the solution. We can use the long shotgun mix with the pickup pattern is very like focus on it, and we can use directional lab mix with the cardio pattern. We need to be really careful on production planning, have the careful production planning. With the open space, the issue is like all the wind, rain, weather, dust happen. So we should think of something to protect our device, like wind protection, or we can use moisture dust protections like non-lubricate condoms. So for example, we need to shoot in this kind of environment for the movie, so the sound of the ocean is very with the wind on it. So and then there's difficult to put the mic on her swimsuit. Then we just use the boom, like hiding from the scene, from the frame. So we need to know where we're shooting and how to make the best sound in this kind of environment. And this is like the way we can do to protect our device. That's very important because it's not cheap. Sometimes we rent, we need to pay more money, so just use something to protect it in this environment. And the boom sometimes need to be long like this, so that the sound, the wind or something is not gonna get much in our audio, and we get as close as possible with the person who need to be recording. and we can use some windscreen to make sure that there's no the wind sound in our recording, like reduces. Yes, and then the second part I think is like we need to getting start setting up our boom and wireless. um we need to know, like we need to have the stand for the boom, so make sure that it stay sturdy, and it's safe for our customer when we boom it, when we record it. Or we need to have a person who hold the boom like for a long time, for hours. So just make sure that is need to our frame is need to careful of the line, that it don't make the shadow on it. And we can use the wireless lab is the option too, because it's very like good when you have a lot of people to interview, and you need to put the wireless lab on them. First of all, we need to make sure that the XLR transmitter and the wireless lab are the same frequency, and it's very good because it's stick right in the people we want to interview. And it's less cable, so less people need to hold the boom or something like that. So there's a pros and cons. We can use which one we like the most, but important thing is like we can use both, so we can handle the thing happen. And when we set up the wireless lab in the people who interview, we need to make sure that they feel comfortable and understanding that what we're doing on the set. I learned some tips from the teachers, like introduce yourself, and don't like invade their personal space without their comfortable thing. Then we can use tape or clip to hide the mic, and to stick the mic in with the people. So here we can see this is the good position to hold the boom pole, and use the shotgun mix to recording. Is right over here, really close to the mouth. And yeah, as what I say, it need to be like on a frame that we don't see the boom over there. Sometime make sure that the sound is steady and don't create any shadow in the frame. That's very important. This is the frequency part that we know that is the same, so it's work. Otherwise it's like mess up. So here we put the lavalier mic and the transmitter. We put it here, so the people can decide where the most comfortable they can hide this transmitter. And we stick the mic inside in his chest, so it's as close as possible with his mouth, and it's not too close to here, so it's create a lot of bass sounds. It's feel terrible. And yeah, we need to say like, hi, how you been doing, and try to make friends with our customers, so they will feel comfortable with what we do. And then to avoid that if they're gonna move sometime, or their clothes gonna create sounds, we need to be careful about that problem. And we can use medical tape, we can use garter clip, because we know that the customer gonna moving around even when they sit on their sofa. So just let them be comfortable, understanding. Yeah, and then the third part, I think then after we set up everything, we need to use the headphone and check the level of the sound. So but before that, we need to have like the room tone. So it's very helpful for the post production. About like 30 seconds is good. And then we can ask the guest about the thing, like have you have breakfast, that we can check the sound when they're talking, or even when they can rehearsal a few lines that they're gonna use in the interview. So we make sure that there's the good amount of sound that they gonna say or laughing, and here's the way we can check it. So the receiver and the transmitter, we sit here, put the headphone on, and they keep talking. And sometimes we need to and there's the video about the sound that we gonna test. Okay, here you're gonna hear it.
And the third channel of audio comes from an on-camera mic, which just sits on top of the other camera and plugs into that one. Now that channel of audio is primarily for syncing the audio later in post-production. So I won't normally use that unless there's a big problem.
So that is the micro on the camera. So it sounds like a little bit echo in the room. It's not really close to your guest. And this is when we use the lap mic, like hidden behind his shirt.
I already have 2 other channels of really good audio for redundancy purposes, and I've got the third for syncing. So for the third one, if you don't have an on-camera mic, you can use the internal mic for that camera. Obviously, as you know,
For me, I really like the sound of the boom, because it sound like more higher and more like the voice very good. If it's like the wireless lav, it's a little bit here, a little bit bass on the voice. It's good quality, but it's just a little bit bass on it. And which means that for that example, we noticed that we should use wireless or boom like their double system more than the single system. And if in our shot there's something like we can control, like the sound people who try to cut the grass by his machine, so we should know how to deal with that. Sometimes we can bribe that person, show them money and then ask them politely, can use, instead you like using your time and create sound, can you take the money, yes, something. Or this is like the good way, like we save a lot of problem later if we know how to handle it. And one more important thing in the set is we need to have the audio format is like wave 5. That's get the best quality, then we can edit it. And the sample rate is 48, and the bit depth is like 16 or more. When using microphone, we need to know that we record it in mono, and then try to check the sounds in the zoom, that the level should be like between 12 decibel to 6 decibel, because that's happened to me when I recording music. When I sing opera, the sound is like too loud, and I still need to figure it out how to handle with the thing like that. And otherwise, I feel like we can be like very confident with our easy setup. Just make sure that the microphone is as close as possible, and we put the headphone on to test the sound. Yes, and then that's the recording on set that I take a look on, do the research on, and feel very interesting, and I'm gonna do it in the future. Thank you.